Greetings and welcome to Self-Intimacy Book Study Part 2. This is part of a group, and I've invited persons who have purchased my book to join me in some discussions and personal work surrounding my most recent book. If you don't have it, you can purchase it on my website at veronicamarie.com, and you will be sent a link to join this group. Of course, the group is free, but once I complete this book study, I will archive the files and offer it for sale to the public. So this is part 2. You can kind of have a look at part 1. I won't recap. Let's move on. Why would we need to do this work of self-intimacy? I mean, why not allow other people just to meet our needs? Why not? Some people might say we're relational and we should allow other people to assist us. And I agree. But the problem in not developing self-intimacy for yourself, yet wanting someone else to do it, comes when the person is not offering intimacy to you, or they cannot offer it, or you separate and you are no longer in a relationship. What will you do then? You're still at ground zero with only yourself. So this work is primarily for you and in you. I know that some people are doing work because they want a relationship to improve, but I think it's so important that you remember that this work is for you, because whether the relationship lasts or not, there's gonna be a you, and you need to be intimate with yourself to have a healthier and a happier life. This work is the work of personal evolution and shifting consciousness. This work will expand your mindsets and belief systems. It will change the way you view the world, the way you experience the world, and you should experience a greater level of peace because you're no longer in lack, searching for others to do for you what you have already done for yourself. Then when you connect with others, you connect and share and enjoy rather than bring heaviness of need and obligation and responsibility into your new connections. I think it's important for everyone on this journey to remember that everybody is proceeding on this journey of evolution at their own pace. So it's important not to develop displeasure because someone is not doing the same kind of work that you're doing, or develop some dissatisfaction because you're doing the work, but you don't see the other person doing work. But we understand that change happens on the inside first, where nobody sees it. And often the person who is experiencing the change is not perceiving it. So it's unfair to think that just because you're doing obvious work that another person is not. I think it's also important to not look down on other people because they are not where you or are not anywhere on the journey. We allow people to be who they are. And that's part of self-intimacy, because when you become intimate with yourself, you realize that you have places within you that are not fully developed. And there are other people who are farther along on their path than you are in that area. And you deserve grace and you deserve kindness and allowance. And so do other people. In this book on page 3, I ask that you resist judging another person or comparing your growth to theirs because they're not doing the same type of work or because their work is not visible. A lot of people fall into this trap. So I encourage you, don't do it. It's not the best use of your energy. You could be growing and excelling inside rather than having conversations about people who are on their own path. I think it's important to recognize when you need outside help. Outside help is needed when your relationship is no longer improving, even with the work that you're doing, yet you still want to stay together. Unfortunately, remember, time does not heal all wounds. No, strategy and support will help you heal the wounds of the past that are present in your relationship. And there isn't one person who is at fault. Fault finding is a sure way to become resentful. Understand that your relational connection is a co-creative byproduct. You created, they created, and you are here now. Many times, the passage of time causes pain to become unconscious. And that's another thing to pay attention to. Sometimes you have to go numb when there's so much pain in the relationship and it seems to be unresolvable. Don't do that because unconscious pain is sure to resurface eventually, causing more emotional intensity and hardship in future situations. Okay. So, regarding others, remember others are not stuck and you are not stuck. If you are intimate with yourself, you understand there's no such thing as stuck. You're in constant transition and motion. Your whole being is a being of energy and transience. Cells are multiplying, wastes are being brought out of the body, nutrients being brought in. You're constantly breathing, constantly shifting. So, nobody is stuck. But even when you feel stuck, understand what you may be experiencing is inner work that isn't visible yet. I often call this a feeling of being in labor. There's something in some part of you that wants to come forward, but you don't know what part or what area. I think it's important to breathe and acknowledge that space and know that it will come when it's time. Inner change is just as real as outer change, even if it's not as visible. Remember, people are exactly where they need to be, and you are exactly where you need to be. I start here because I need to set the foundation of understanding. You can't start your self intimacy journey and be very deeply understanding, acknowledging, and integrating yourself if you're having problems judging others, because that means you also judge yourself. So we want to stay away from that. In this journey, you may become more self-oriented. Now, self-oriented is not the equivalent of being detached or callous or unkind to the people around you. Being self oriented is the energy of saying, I deeply need to take care of myself right now. So I may not be as present with your needs, but I do care. That's what I mean when I say during this process, you may become more self oriented. If you're in a relationship where you feel unsafe or suffer abuse, remember you need help. Contact a therapist or a friend for support and guidance. And remember, even emotionally intelligent partners can have an adverse reaction to your emotional growth. This is normal. When your energy is shifting and it feels foreign to the other person because you have developed patterns, it may spark a little bit of insecurity within the other person. These are real relational dynamic shifts. And you'll need to, while you're going through this process, you'll probably need to reassess and recreate some new ways of being with your partner. That's if you're in a relationship already. You're going to need new understandings, new conversations, new agreements will be necessary for sure. And remember, it's okay to care about other people's feelings in this process, but it's important that you don't take responsibility for how other people feel. You're only responsible for how you feel. That doesn't mean you don't care how other people feel. It doesn't mean you're attached from their feelings. It just means you have to be responsible for your own and allow them. What that looks like is realizing you can't make anybody feel anything and nobody can't make you feel anything. You feel it because of how you think and what you believe and what is being activated based upon what you're experiencing. So right then and there, we avoid taking responsibility. A lot of people won't express themselves or live authentically because they take responsibility for other people's feelings. They're fearful that the other person may be hurt or fearful that the other person may get upset or feel fearful that the other person may disconnect. These are hindrances to self intimacy because, again, you're taking emotional responsibility for others. And the question remains, who is being responsible for your emotions? And you probably have asked that throughout time. I'm there for everybody. Who is there for me? Well, the problem is you have abandoned yourself. You have disregarded yourself and more highly regarded other people's emotions. And so you feel lonely and abandoned and left alone. But in this process, we're bringing you back home, home to self. I'm going to end this short talk right here and remind you that I offer one on one coaching. You can sign up on my website. at veronicamarie.com. And if you're not a part of this study group, you can become a part of this study group if you have purchased the book. You can send me an email at veronicamarie@mail.com, veronicamarie@mail.com. If you want to join the group and you have already purchased the book. If you need to purchase the book, go to my website, veronicamarie.com. If you need one-on-one coaching, you can also sign up there. All right, well, have a good day, and I'll see you next time with part 3. We're going through my recent self-intimacy workbook, and I just am enjoying this journey with you.